Hey everybody, Tracy Lee, Self-Love Master Coach, coming to you today with one of my clients, Alaina. Alaina, thank you for being here. One of the things that is going on in the world right now, with everything that's going on in the world right now, we have more of an opportunity than ever to monitor our own stress levels, to monitor our own fear. As a teacher of love, specifically self-love, and a teacher and a student of A Course in Miracles, every moment is an opportunity to choose fear or love, and never before have we all collectively been doing that quite as much, or quite as often, or quite as intensely as we are right now on the planet. On March 5th, I wrote a blog post called, I'm going to share it with you guys, called The 8-Step Self-Loving Antidote for Your Oh Shit Moments. Little did I know on March 5th how incredibly important that would be. And Alaina has done a spectacular job of employing these 8 steps in her life. And I just wanted to have a conversation with her about how these 8 steps have been so impactful for her, and how she's really put them into practice with everything that's going on, and even before everything that was going on. So we will put that up again in a moment. But for now, Alaina, you want to just introduce yourself and talk a little bit about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay. So, Alaina Frederick, and I am a entrepreneur, work-at-home mom of 5 boys that we homeschool, ranging from 16 to 1. So we have a lot of busyness, distractions, a lot of things going on, a lot of places for stresses. And I've also been learning over the last 8 months.
Sounds right.
Sounds right. Over the last eight months, how to better love myself and how to put myself first. Because as a mom, that usually we are at the very bottom of the list, and we end up getting sick, and then the house falls apart. No laundry gets done because
no one eats. Nobody eats.
Nobody eats. No one eats. No one has clothes. Everyone's walking around naked. So I've been learning how to put myself forward and as first, and then also learning how to, I call it stop the spin, which is the same thing as a no shit moment. For me, it's a spinning. For me, it's a visualization of spinning.
So talk about a little bit about what happens when you or what used to happen anyway, when you would start spinning, what might set you off in a spin, and what was the result of not being able to stop the spin? And then we'll talk a little bit about what you do now.
So the former me would break down. I would have big fat crocodile tears. I would be worst case scenario. Someone's dying in a ditch somewhere. It was whatever was the absolute worst that could possibly potentially happen. That's where my mind went. I just verbally vomited to anyone who was within earshot, and if they weren't within earshot, I got them within earshot, so I could verbally vomit like everything that was going on, speaking really fast, a heart racing, my stomach would be hurting. There were times where I even would go to the ER thinking I was having a heart attack because I was spinning so greatly, and just was not able to stop and realize it wasn't, even if it was this worst case scenario, it's okay. I'll still get through it. Like, I was just really, can't even think of the word, because like any word that comes to mind, I don't even want to use it to describe it, because I was like, no, I wasn't like that. I was amazing.
And there's no shame, really and truly. This happens to all of us, and how far you've come in such a short amount of time is nothing short of amazing, and you really deserve to give yourself a big fat juicy gold star and a pat on the back on the regular. I remember conversations with you where it would be this one thing, and then we'd be 20 subjects down the road of catastrophe in every single scenario. Like, this is bad and this is bad. It's called dump trucking, or kitchen sinking, right? Like where everything becomes everything. And the most important thing in all of that is to be aware that you're doing it. Now, if it ever starts to happen again, you'll know exactly what it feels like. Yes?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and it happens to all of us, even to me. The catch is, the trick is to be able to employ these 8 steps to know if this is really truly a dangerous emergency in this moment or not. So I'm going to share them up there again, Alaina, and I want you to talk about what you do, how you work these steps.
Yep. So the first one is off for me. This is all for me. You may be different, but for me, the first one was the hardest. But once I started noticing, then I was like, huh, okay, cool. Another moment.
And what did you notice? What did you specifically notice in yourself? How does it manifest for you? Again, as you're saying, it's different for everybody. For me, my mouth gets dry like the Sahara Desert. People's heart race. What was your tell? How did you know for sure the spin, as you call it, the oh shit moment was starting to happen for you?
So for me, it was the feeling of being stuck in one of those really old school revolving doors that have the really nasty plants that are in the one section that are in front of you and behind you, and like you can't escape. That is like the feeling for me. My heart's racing, my head is spinning.
Yeah.
There's so many thoughts going on that I can't tell where one thought stops and a new thought begins.
Yeah.
So it's literally a physical, mental, spiritual, like every being part of me is spinning.
Beautiful. So you notice. It's kind of hard not to notice now, really, right?
Right. Yeah. Like I said, the first one was the most difficult to get there, but now that I'm there, I'm noticing it all the time.
Yeah.
So like, I'm super, super aware.
Beautiful. And then
it's the stop. It's just hold on. Wait a minute. Let me stop for a second. Like, what's going on? Okay. I'm in this moment. I'm spinning. All right. We need to stop. And for me, it's a physical stop wherever I'm at. If I'm driving, I pull over. If I'm walking and I'm not in the middle of the street, I literally physically stop. If I'm sitting, working and typing, I push myself back from the computer. I physically stop.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Perfect. Really perfect. And then
you breathe. 6 seconds in, 12 seconds out. And I'll tell you what, those 12 seconds out, sometimes you got to push on that diaphragm to get to the end.
It's really true. When I am really in a oh shit moment in a big, big way, that 6-12 breathing, that first one is just kind of murder. It's like, what? You want me to what? And that's a great indicator that you really were in an oh shit moment. And the breathing, actually, what happens is when the diaphragm rises and falls the way that it does, if you breathe in through your nose for 6 seconds and out through your mouth really slow and controlled for 12, it massages your vagus nerve in a way. The vagus nerve is one of the most important nerves you have in your body. It controls your heart rate and your digestion and your blood pressure. And it will literally send a message to your brain, that breathing, that all is well, by massaging your vagus nerve, which oxygenates your brain, which makes everything else so much easier. I love the story that you tell about being in the car with your husband and catching yourself in the middle of an oh shit moment and not remembering, like you caught yourself in the oh shit moment, you stopped, and then you went, that's as far as I can get. I got to 1 and 2, and you told him to tell the story about what you told him to do.
So I got to 1 and 2, and I was in the middle of 3. However, it was more of a breathing versus the slow. and it was in that moment where it's like, okay, I mentally cannot get myself through this. Like I needed that outlier. I needed that other thing to really help, because it was such a spin. It was such a difficult spin. And so I had this list as a text message from Tracy. So I told her, I'm like, get on my phone. It's like, okay. There's a message from Tracy. It will have 8 things in it. It's a numbered list. Will you just read that list to me?
Right.
Okay. So I'm just driving, and all he's doing is reading the list, just verbally reading. And I'm driving. I'm like, cool, read it again.
Yeah.
And he just read it again. And so I'm like mentally going through my head. I'm like, okay, I've noticed. I've stopped. I'm breathing. Am I breathing or am I holding my breath? No, I'm breathing.
Beautiful. And then,
and then doing the next ones.
Perfect. So talk about step 4.
So check. So this is my favorite one because I like to have fun with it. I'm now to the point where I can have fun with it, where it's not just, is there a bear? It's, is Jason at the door with a knife? No, he's not. Is there a saber-toothed tiger coming to get me? No. Am I out of toilet paper? No.
Right. And so this is an easy step to play with for sure, but I don't want you to skip it. This is super important because really what's happening is your amygdala brain is sending messages to your body that there's danger. And I want you to check to see if there's really danger. The truth is, if there's really a bear chasing you through the woods, you are not going to notice, stop, and breathe. You're just going to run. So if you're doing 1, 2, and 3, chances are, while yes, in the world, things do feel scary right now. That is undeniable. The truth is, in this moment, if Alaina's having an oh shit moment right now, the truth is she's in her office, in her house, her kids are safe. There is not immediate danger in this moment. And I want you guys very much, super important right now for us to be able to discern the true imminent danger and the fear, and be able to really love yourself so much to be able to then do the next steps. So number 4 is pivotal and a game changer. And I do not want you to skip it because it's easy. I literally want you to look around and go, oh, I'm in my office and it's a beautiful day and that sort of thing. So then now let's talk about step 5 and how you do step 5.
So I actually want to go back to step 4 because I think there's another thing that has helped me in this one, and that is you're not in danger, you're just uncomfortable.
Yes.
So that really
post, which at some point there'll be a link in wherever you're watching it. We'll talk about that blog post along with this one. But go ahead, Alaina.
Yeah. So that one has also helped me too in the check-in, because at first when I checked, I'm like, yes, I am in danger. The world's falling apart around me. Yes, I am in danger. But it was a retraining of my brain to say, no, am I in danger right now? Right now, in this very moment. Is there a car speeding at me? No. So that really helped me to discern the difference between, is it actual danger or am I just uncomfortable? Yeah. Is there something else?
I can't tell you how many of my clients say, I feel anxiety, I feel afraid, I feel fear, I feel worried, and nothing ages us more than stress, and nothing is more stressful than fear. And that survival feeling when 99% of the time in the immediate moment, it's not really true. So let's move on to number 5. Now that you've checked to see that you are actually indeed not in immediate danger, how do you soothe yourself?
Yes. So for example, when my husband was reading that, for me, that was soothing. Having him just read this numbered list, read it out to me, that was soothing to me. That was getting me grounded. It was getting me back into the present moment, listening to his words and hearing his voice. It was getting me grounded. Other things that I do is I'll go make myself a cup of tea, or sometimes it will just be, if there's no tea or physical things around, I'll just be like, oh, that's a really pretty cloud.
Yes.
Just looking around myself. Can I hear birds? I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to focus on the birds. Can I feel the sun against my skin? I'm going to feel that. Do I hear my kids laughing? I'm just going to focus on their voices. For me, the tea or senses, that's like the biggest thing, just to calm myself, get myself grounded, because it's getting me back into the right now, the moment that's happening right now, be where my feet are.
Beautiful. Well done. Well done. In the 28 Days of Self-Love journal, which is available and free for everybody, at the very beginning of the journal, there is a prompt to create your own healthy self-soothing list, because when we don't have a healthy self-soothing list, we go to our vices and we self-soothe in unhealthy ways. So, little plug to go to my website and get yourself that journal and make sure you have a healthy self-soothing list, that you know where it is, so that you can practice this easily. And Alaina, you are so spot on. Using your senses, using your sense of smell, your sense of hearing and sight, and really focusing on your senses in the moment will immediately ground you. So good job. So step 6, which I feel like is probably the most important step to really creating not just change in the moment, but lasting change, so that this oh shit moment, with this belief that's running this oh shit moment, gets to be one of the last ones you have about this particular topic. So can you talk about step 6 and how you use this one?
Yes. So step 6, just being curious, and thinking, okay, why did I freak out? I'm not being judgmental or right or wrong. It's just curiosity.
Mhm.
It's just, what was it that triggered me? What was it in the moment? What were the words that were said? Was there something else that was going on? And it was, like that, the straw on the camel back type thing. Um, and just replaying it in my mind in a very loving and accepting way. Again, no right or wrong, no good or bad. It's just a replay of, why did it happen, and what can I do to prevent it in the future?
Right.
Or what can I do to change it? Maybe it won't be prevented. Maybe it'll happen all the time. I don't know. It depends on the moment. But just being curious about it and just thinking about it in different ways. And sometimes with this one, I do need outside help.
Yeah.
So reaching out to people that I love and respect, like Tracy, or other people within the self-love community, and just say, this is what happened, and this is what I'm kind of thinking about it, but do you guys see something I don't see? Because I'm still in the moment, it's still close to me. So sometimes it helps to have someone else be like, well, what do you think about this? Or could it have something to do with this? So that one is, sometimes it's not all you, sometimes it's a group effort.
Yeah.
On the curiosity.
For sure. And I'm going to, without getting into the story, you had one this morning when we were talking, or this afternoon, actually, when we were talking, where your aha was, oh, I don't measure up. I have a belief that says that I don't measure up. So that's the old belief. That's the survival belief, that I don't measure up. And then step 7 is, once we have that, oh, this is, and step 6, when you really get to the end of it, it will absolutely feel like that. It will feel like, oh, that's what's going on? I don't really even believe that anymore. And so if the belief is, I don't measure up, then what step 7 is, how do you rewrite that to be a more loving belief? So how do you handle that, Alaina?
So one, the example that you gave is for the measuring up. Well, measuring up to whom?
Right.
What's the measuring stick? First of all, it doesn't, other thoughts, and it doesn't matter. There's only certain people, or divine, in my life that measuring stick matters. So that's an example of one. But even
when you rewrite the belief, that one in particular, it's how do I measure up? How do I measure up to my measuring stick, right? I'm the only one who matters. I and the people closest to me, that's it. When I compare myself to people outside of my sphere, that's not a loving choice. And a more loving choice is, oh, I'm a rock star today. Turns out look at all the things that I'm navigating today, right?
Right. Yeah. And simple tweaks of words, of how can I say this more lovingly? Yeah. Through all of this, it may still be, yes, I feel anxious. Not I am anxious, but I feel anxious right now.
Right.
Changing of the words so that it's in a moment, changing of the words so that it's empowering from my standpoint, not the world coming in on me and their beliefs, their so it's to me, this one has been probably the once I got through number one and I was aware, it has been the one that has been the most difficult, but the most empowering
Hmm.
in just changing of thought processes. Because these are, we're rewriting things that I've been doing for decades. I've been thinking for decades. So
Yeah.
it does take time.
Yeah.
But again, then it gets into number 8, practice it, because you're just repeating the cycle over and over and over again. You're repeating, this belief no longer serves one. This is a more loving belief over and over and over again. And eventually it does come more easy. Like I can now, instead of, when people say, well, how are you feeling? Instead of like, oh, I'm stressed out. No, it's like, I feel stressed out right now. Like that way of wording it now comes naturally to me.
Beautiful. And so the practice, step 8, which is really so important, is I want you guys to be able to tell oh my gosh. So I want you to tell the journey of your 8 steps. That's step 8 is I was having this oh shit moment this morning and I navigated through it, like Alaina's story about driving in the van with her husband and how she navigated through that story. When we do that, it solidifies the new neural pathways that we are trying to create instead of the old neural pathways, right? So I want you guys to tell, to reinforce, and yes, to brag about your success of this new way of doing things, because and your new belief, your new more loving belief, because what that will do is it will encourage other people to do the same thing. It will reinforce the new belief for you. And most of the time we are in a habit of telling the bad news and the bad story. I want you guys to on purpose begin to tell the good news, the good story, the attagirls, the attaboys, the gold stars for the day, and talk about them and reinforce them more than the bad stuff. Anything else you want to say, Alaina, before we wrap up?
On that, with sharing of that, it becomes easier the more you do it too.
Everything. The way we get good at anything is the way we get good at everything. Practice, practice, practice. And quite frankly, in the self-love community and self-love masterclass, we've been practicing these things like all the time, and we're not practicing anymore. It's no longer a drill. Real life, as it turns out, requires us to be able to nail these things so that we can live a more loving life for ourselves and for those people around us. And hopefully, it's my prayer, my wish, my purpose, my drive, my passion to create, in whatever small way that I can, a planet that is filled with love far more than it's filled with fear. And right now, boy howdy, do we have some juicy stuff to work with. So Alaina, thank you so much for sharing your personal journey with me and with others, and being just a rock star to be able to encourage other people to do the same. I really appreciate you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Big love.